Hola a todos, buenos días. Hi everyone. Bienvenidos a otro episodio de Life in Music en un horario matutino, un horario diferente, porque tenemos el gran honor de tener un enorme invitado. No lo podemos creer, estamos alucinando. Es un sueño hecho realidad poder realizar esta entrevista. Y bueno, mi nombre es Cristian Almanza, soy director de Music and Arts Institute y artista Casio Music México. Y bueno, vamos con su video biografía porque tenemos poquito tiempo.
Martin Miller, músico, compositor, productor y profesor de música nacido en Alemania. Creció rodeado de música y desde muy pequeño empezó a tocar la guitarra. Fue así que decidió estudiar de manera formal la universidad, graduándose en el 2010 con especialización en educación musical, así como en rock instrumental, pop y jazz. Desde el 2015 se ha dedicado a impartir clases y dar conferencias en diferentes partes del mundo. Su habilidad como intérprete le ha dado el reconocimiento en las más altas esferas musicales, creándole ya un nombre en la historia de la música. Miller tiene innumerables inspiraciones, tales como el metal progresivo, jazz, fusión y más. Todos estos géneros se hacen evidentes en su disco The Other End, grabado en 2013 bajo el sello discográfico JTC. Actualmente se encuentra patrocinado por marcas como Ibáñez y Lani. Sin duda alguna, es un talento que se está abriendo paso en el mundo de la música y que desde hace tiempo es la inspiración para jóvenes que se encuentran en la búsqueda de su identidad musical. Es un honor recibir a Martin Miller, aquí en Life in Music.
Hi Master, good afternoon in Germany.
How you doing?
Fine, thanks, and you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Thanks.
I want to thank you for being here. That's a big honor for us and for all our students, and we are so excited.
Yeah, likewise. Happy to meet you all.
Thank you very much. Well, can we start with the questions?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Well, first of all, can you introduce yourself, please, for all the people?
Yeah, so I'm Martin Miller, 35 years old. I'm a guitarist from Leipzig, Germany. I'm a professional musician. As I mentioned, I play guitar. I do a bit of production and mixing. I'm also a singer. I'm a teacher. I'm an author. Yeah, I dabble in all these different kinds of things. Yeah, I'm also a YouTuber. Yeah, so lots of different things going on.
Yeah. A big YouTuber now.
well, not nowadays, right? It's for example, I watch a lot of gaming YouTube channels, and like even the small-sized YouTube channels in gaming have more subscribers than me. So it depends on how you look at it.
Well, for me, you are great. One of the best YouTubers. Well, Master, what tools should the current guitarists have? What do you think are the most important elements?
As an artist, or it always depends on whether you try to be an artist or you try to be a serviceman, right?
As an artist.
As an artist, yeah. Well, first of all, so the reason I ask is because, for example, when I teach people, I do not try to interfere with their artistry so much. I try to stay out of the way and let them be the artists they want to be. And I try to provide them with skills, knowledge, and fundamentals. So that basically all the kinds of stuff they need to become the artists they want to be, whether that's technique, ear development, sight reading is important for some it isn't. Understanding of harmony, theory, fretboard knowledge, all these things. I try to provide people with as broad of a fundamental as possible so they can be the artists they want. Personally, for me, I don't care what artists they then become and develop. That is up to them. That is their vision. And I try to stay out of that vision as a teacher. I just try to help them be the artist they want to be. But as an artist, I guess nowadays it's more important than ever to have creative ideas, to be original in your own way, have your own identity. You have to be able to brand yourself. You have to be able to market yourself. And it's you have to be able to video edit, to audio produce. You have to be able to do so many things nowadays. Like, the times have changed a lot in a sense that there used to be a huge team behind every artist that became really popular. And nowadays there's a lot more do-it-yourself kind of an approach out there, because we can produce music in our homes, because we can shoot videos anywhere and those types of things. In order to streamline the creative process, you kind of have to be able to do it all by yourself. Like, I even program my website myself. Yeah, I'm literally doing everything by myself. So yeah, having very broad skills beyond music is very important too nowadays.
And it's hard, and it's very few time. It's poco tiempo.
It's really little time.
It's very little time.
Yeah, little time. So we got here one of our students, Julian Smith.
Hi. How you doing?
Oh, good. What an honor.
Well, estabas hablando acerca del desarrollo creativo. ¿Qué tan complicado es eso?
You were talking about creative development. How complicated is that?
How complicated is to develop what? Creatively?
The artistic development. The creativeness. Yeah.
That's an interesting one, because I'm not sure how to describe that. Like, when I spoke earlier about having fundamental skills, these skills don't necessarily equate to creativity, right? Being able to understand harmony doesn't mean you can do something creative with the harmony that you understand. So for me, that is a bit of a mystique. I don't know if that's an inherent thing within us to the point where it's genetical, or whether that's the upbringing, your societal surrounding, or it's probably a mix of all those things, right? Your musical socialization, like what music did you listen to when you grew up? It's all those things mixed together, I think. How far you can develop that, as I said, the better your fundamental skill, the better you are able to express what's within you. Now, how do you get something into yourself that needs expressing? I know people who have tremendous musical skill, but very little creative expression, or very little demand to express themselves creatively. And I'm not sure there's much you can do about it. I think that has a lot to do with the kind of person you are by nature. The only thing you can do is nurture the creativity by soaking up a lot of creativity from the outside world, whether that is watching movies, reading books, speaking to other human beings, watching nature, listening to music, whatever that is, you can nurture that. But if it's not within you, for whatever reason, I think it's going to be tough. Not everybody is born to be a great artist.
Sí, definitivamente el artista se tiene que nutrir de muchos elementos, no únicamente de música.
Yeah, definitely the artist has to guide himself with a lot of elements.
Mm-hmm.
No solo de música, sino también de la vida misma.
Not only music, but also life experiences.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. For example, I don't listen to a lot of music, to be honest. I draw, like right now, I'm in a big gaming phase. I draw a lot of inspiration out of how video games are made. And not necessarily, I saw this video game, let's write a song about that. It's not that. It's for example, I watch videos on how video games are being created. And the way those teams work together, or the way the developers talk about coming up with these ideas and spreading it over a team, making it a team effort until they have a finished product, and the process of refining their product and all those kind of things, and publishing them and marketing them, that inspires me. I find it very inspiring to see people in other walks of life come up with the things they do, and I try to take something away from that for myself. Even though my approach is very different from making video games, because I'm a single dude in his home who produces music on a computer and then has it recorded and then puts it together. It's a very different process. So I'm a one-man mission, whereas, for example, people in video games are large teams usually. So yeah, but I try to grab something from them.
Sí, nuestro equipo de herramientas podrían ser cuestiones como la técnica, la armonía, la rítmica.
Yeah, our team of technical stuff, like our team of way of doing things is the technical stuff, the harmony, the rhythm, and all of those stuff.
Yes, that's the kind of stuff that I, as a teacher, want to help with. That is really important, that everybody has a good baseline to be able to express themselves. You need to have some degree of technique. You need to have some degree of understanding. You need to have a degree of mastery of rhythm. Whether how far you need to take that to do what you want to do, it's again up to the person that is taking the lesson. But generally speaking, I try to stay away from the creative side in my lessons and just be as objective as I can be and let people express themselves.
A big discussion about technique.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you play fast, you cannot feel. But
that's probably one of the most naive. Gotta be careful what I say here. Most naive, sweeping statements that I know. It's like what. I could rephrase that. I could, for example, let's replace the word fast with another adjective and say high. So if you play high, you cannot feel something. Yeah. That is, of course, complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Also, in the same way that if you play fast, you can't feel anything. There's one thing you need to understand about feeling and music, and this may sound a bit strange at first, but let me explain it. There is no feeling in music. Zero. Music has no feeling. There is no feeling in the music. The feeling is what happens inside of you as you listen to the music. And that is personal. And unfortunately, these elitists who make such statements as, if you play fast, you have no feeling, they don't experience a feeling that they cherish when they listen to somebody else. So they try to find a reason why that is. The funny thing is that oftentimes you don't know why you like or dislike something. So you blame it on it being fast. But the truth is, maybe you don't like it because it's not the 70s anymore, and people don't look, talk, and act like they used to in the 70s, and you miss being young. And that could just be that nostalgia. And so you grab the first thing that you notice, somebody's playing fast, and you blame it on that. It's a very easy way out of really thinking about music, in my opinion. It's too easy of an answer for a complex topic such as music. So I don't believe that how fast you play has anything to do with how much feeling there is. If anything, the quality of the music is what's important, and that is not determined by how fast, how slow, high, low, dark, bright something is, but there's a lot of things that have to come together and that have to click.
Discusión que a menudo tienen los guitarristas, pero deben entender que la técnica es un montón de elementos, no solo tocar rápido.
It's a discussion that a lot of guitarists have, that every second.
Tienen que entender que la técnica no es solamente tocar rápido.
Yeah, the technique is not only about playing fast.
Se trata
Yes.
del groove.
Very true. Very true.
It's about groove.
De conectar nuestra mente con nuestras manos.
To connect our mind with our hands.
Yeah, I had a student today that wanted to play a movie theme. I don't know. I didn't know the movie and I didn't know the theme, but he made a little solo arrangement for guitar for that movie theme, and he can play fast, really fast. But he failed on the technical execution of that piece. It didn't sound beautiful because he was not able to, for example, connect two chords elegantly enough, which is very common for somebody who's a shredder kind to not be super comfortable with connecting certain chord voicings, or to, with your right hand, to emphasize the melody note. If you have a cluster of notes, you play 4 notes at the same time, you want the melody note, the top note, to ring above all the other notes. And he had a problem working that out, making that top note shine, and that's why it sounded a little clunky. And that is a technical matter. That is technique, amongst so many other things. So technique, often we make the mistake of looking at technique as what can you play? And we don't look at technique as how do you play the thing that you play? Because I can take any drummer. I can take any drummer that has played for 6 months, and they can play. But you hear a difference when Vinny Colaiuta plays. He doesn't play anything different. That is technique. It's right there. That is technique. And that takes so long to develop. And sometimes the difference between great technique and bad technique is where you move a note on the rhythmic grid, whether it's a little forward, a little backward, or it's right on.
So, what do you think is the way to have best musical taste? Artists like you transcend not only for their technique, but also for the excellent choice of notes and rhythm.
I gotta come back to the basics. So I think you need to develop your ears. You need to listen. First of all, you need to intake a lot of music. In your formative years especially, listen to a lot of music. Listen to what music sounds good and examine why it sounds good and absorb that. But for me, my note choices, and I think a lot of people who just call me out for playing fast and having no feelings, I would argue that a lot of them don't understand how melodies and chords relate to another. Because what I'm very concerned about when I play is how my melody is connected to the chords. So I do a ton of studying of chord tones around the neck. Chord tones, passing tones, chromatic passing tones, etc. So I have a relatively high degree of command of the notes I choose. And I have a relatively highly developed ear, which means that I hear a note in my head. I know what interval that note is in relation to my chord, and I know where that note is on the neck instantaneously. And that's why I can make note choices based on my taste, because I have maybe 3-4 options to go to, but I choose the option that I anticipate will sound best. I know it'll sound good before I play it. And that's through many years of developing your ears and fretboard knowledge. So it basically comes down to studying music. It's not some divine being that gave me that idea. It has to a degree to do with creativity, but before it becomes creativity, there needs to be knowledge and skill and a good baseline to work with.
Claro, es un trabajo duro. De hecho, ahora que mencionabas esta cuestión de cuántas notas toco, si quieres verlo diciendo.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. You mentioned it is about how many notes I play.
Rick Beato comenta que no se trata de la cantidad, sino de qué notas son.
Rick Beato doesn't. He says not about the quantity, but about what notes they are.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with Rick. He's a very knowledgeable man.
Yeah. He's a great musician.
Yeah, for sure, and one of a kind talent, and he knows what he's talking about.
So, how do you make the solos of the covers you play with your band? Harmony or melody? Which one comes first?
Well, the harmony is none of my business because that is written. That is written by whoever the composer is. So I got to work with what's there. So I examine the harmony. What's very important is I do not just know what key a song is. I know every single chord of the song. And that informs the decision I make when I solo, what notes I choose. So it's developing a high degree of awareness as to what chords you're playing over and what fits those chords. But the harmony is not of my choice. That is pre-written by the composer. And a lot of times people ask me, what scales do you use? And if you watch a video of mine, you ask yourself, what scale is he using? You probably misunderstand how scales work. There's a high chance that you misunderstand how it works. Because I don't choose the scales. The music chooses the scales for me. I just need to look at the music and know which scale goes with what chord. But I cannot choose. Like if I have a 2-5-1 progression, if I have a D minor 7 going to G7 going to C major 7, that first chord, that D minor 7 will be D Dorian, and it's not for me to decide that. It is decided by the music. Yeah, it's for you to understand that structure, though. As a musician, you need to understand that structure, and you need to know how to follow along with that structure.
Es muy cierto lo que comentas.
It's very true what you say.
No podemos imponer nosotros esta cuestión. Siempre la música nos dicta qué hacer.
We cannot put forward what this is. Music always dictates the function.
Yes. The music dictates the free. Think about this. In the same way, people need to understand this. In the same way, the rhythm dictates the music for you, because you cannot just decide to play whatever subdivision you want to play at the moment, whatever note length you want to play. You have to play with, if this is your pulse, these are your quarter notes, da, 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 and whatever you play over that is going to compare to that. So da, 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 playing offbeats, they're only offbeats because the pulse decided where the downbeat is. And in the same way that the pulse of the music decides where the notes go, the harmony of the music decides where the pitch goes.
Yeah, of course. So what is the most common mistake in your students? What should we avoid as guitarists or as musicians?
I sound like a broken record because I keep repeating myself, but it's that important to me. I think a lot of students want to get to the high hanging fruit too fast. Do you understand what that means? Yeah, is that a saying? When you get to the high hanging fruit, you want to play fast. You want to do downward pick slanting and sweep picking and all that stuff. You want to get to that too quickly, and you don't have the fundamentals to support that. For some reason, some students find it incredibly important to figure out how the pick travels from one string to the next when you play 3-note per string picking runs. But they cannot play da, 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 8th note offbeats. So if there's a most common mistake, I think it's that, neglecting the fundamentals over the flashy stuff. And the second, I just had it. It just slipped my mind, but that is a good one. If I can think of it, yes. With the electric guitar, not with classical guitar or acoustic guitars, but with electrical guitar, I think a lot of people overemphasize the importance of the right hand technique in comparison to the left hand, and it took me until 4 or 5 years ago that I figured out that all the flaws I had in my playing, 90% of them came from my left hand form and posture. So neglecting basic efficient left hand fretting technique over other more, like you always see, like you buy a technique book, it's always about tapping, sweep picking, economy picking, alternate picking, all that stuff. But has anybody ever told you how to make a position shift efficient, or to shift between chords, how to make that efficient?
Nobody
talks about it, and that is the essence of good technique. Yeah. So those two things, I would say, often get overlooked.
uno de los elementos que he escuchado
One of the elements I've heard is
que tú trabajas con tus alumnos es cantar.
that you work with your students is to sing.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I don't insist that my students sing, and I don't insist that they create a beautiful sound or that they're perfectly on pitch. It's not a singing lesson. I think singing is important because the student needs to let me know whether what they hear. Yeah, we need a way to communicate what is going on inside their head. So when I play them a note and I ask them to sing it back, that's the only way for me to find out whether they understand the function of that note correctly. Because a lot of people, I've started teaching them, I started with improvisational concepts, taught them about chord scales, for example, and 3 weeks later realized that they're not really going anywhere, even though they're putting in the time. And oftentimes I'll catch myself jumping ahead of myself, and then I'll go, wait a minute, can you sing this note? And I play them a single note, and they cannot sing it. And if you cannot sing a note, you cannot understand a note. You cannot understand the function of that note within the music. And then all that other stuff that you learn, that you put on top of that, you will never really absorb the information that is in there. So you need to be able to decipher pitches, and you need to be able to sing basic intervals.
Yeah, the intervals are so important to understand melody and harmony together. And how can we explode that?
I agree, yes. That's exactly how I see
it. So, can you... perdón que cambiemos de tema, pero tenemos poco tiempo.
Oh, sorry, we have to change the topic, but we have really little time.
Yeah, let's go.
Can you tell us your experiences and regards playing with your guitar heroes?
That's a good one. Yeah.
With Andy Timmons, a brutal collab, Paul Gilbert, Mark Lettieri. Wow.
Yeah.
That stuff. That's es complicado.
That's complicated.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's a very humbling experience, and it's very enlightening to see these masters do their work. And I always kind of hope that some of their magic fairy dust will rub off onto me. It's interesting to see that. Well, one thing I learned is that not everybody is the same. So if you take Andy Timmons and Paul Gilbert, two equally genius guitar players, they have two very different approaches. I'm not talking about their playing so much as their approach to music. Andy Timmons is a very self-critical guy as far as I got to see him. So he always thinks he could do better. He wants to put more energy in, and he's never happy with where he's at. In that sense, he's very much like me. And he always it's somebody like him. He always thinks he's not doing well enough, and he could be doing better. And I find that very inspiring. A guy like Paul Gilbert, on the other hand, the way I got to know him, he disregards these things, like thoughts like this isn't good enough, or how am I going to do this? How is this going to turn out? It doesn't exist for him. He shows up, he plugs in, we press record, and then we play, and then that's done. And he never will say something like, oh, can we do that again? Or I screwed that up, or this third take has the best solo, please use that take, or something like that. He never says anything like that. These thoughts don't cross his mind. He's very much in the moment. He just plays, and after it's played, it's done, it's over. You do not think about it anymore. So it's two very different approaches, and they both yield fantastic results. So that's something I learned. Everybody has their own thing, and it works for them. Different personalities, different approaches. Yeah, and one thing I also learned is that these guys are absolute masters of their craft. They just never fail.
They're almost perfect, or really perfect.
Well, maybe not perfect, but they're prepared. They show up, and they're bang on.
¿Y cómo esto te ha hecho crecer como músico?
How has this made you grow as a musician?
Say that again, sorry.
How has this made you grow as a musician?
Well, it enhances my experience. It makes me see things that I would have never seen before. I've experienced things firsthand, and firsthand experience always hits you harder than seeing something on a screen. Like, I watched all of Paul Gilbert's instructional videos when I was young, but and while I learned a bunch of great licks from that, there were things that I learned from watching Paul Gilbert up close do what he does that I would never be able to learn any other way. And I would say that it's very interesting to now look back at these instructionals and think, well, he was that kind of person back then. And I imagine myself, how did he sit in the studio and make that video? How did the type of person that he is lead to the result of all those videos and records? And how did that have an impact on his art? So that is something that I'm beginning to see a correlation between personalities and the art they create.
Justamente ayer veía una entrevista tuya con Tom Quayle.
Yeah, just yesterday he was watching an interview with Tom Quayle.
Mm-hmm.
En la que hablabas acerca de qué momento vives en tu carrera musical, pero ese video tiene 3 años.
About what moment do you live on your musical career, but that video is 3 years ago.
Ahora, como mencionabas que estabas en una curva ascendente y que debías mantenerla.
Yeah, you were mentioning that you're in a curve ascending and that you had to stay there.
¿En qué momento te encuentras ahora, 3 años después?
And where do you find yourself now, 3 years after?
Well, I said that?
Yeah.
Or who said it?
You.
So say again, I said that I improve and then you get stuck, or what do you mean?
No, that you go in a straight line up and that you have to stay there. And, well, where you find yourself now.
Mantenerse ahí.
Yeah.
O sea, que you have to maintain on that level.
Oh yeah, so you have to put in a lot of time to stay on that level. Yeah, that's true. It's very interesting. I think, do we have some Dark Souls players out there, or any kind of RPG players? I kind of related to that skill system in that video game. It's where you have a certain amount of experience points that you can invest, and you can invest it, for example, into your life points, into your vitality. And with every skill point that you invest, you get whatever 10 life points. But once you've reached, let's say, 100 life points, you invest 1 skill point and you only get 5 extra life points out of it. So that is the concept of diminishing returns. That means if I start out playing guitar at age 12 and I put in 2 hours a day, I get incredibly fast results. I'm 35 now. If I put 2 hours a day into my guitar playing, if I'm lucky, I stay the same and maybe improve a little bit, right? So for me, I decided that I do not want to invest my time and resources so much only into something that I will get slightly better at. I want to keep having maximum returns for what I put into. And that's why I started singing, and I started really getting into audio production and those types of things. Because with singing, I'm a fairly new guy. And every hour that I put into it, I can really see a change in the outcome. When it's the same with mixing, the better I get with that, every hour I put into that, I get better with it. My videos sound better, and my album sounds better, and all those types of things. So oftentimes, instead of, let's say I have 2 hours to play the guitar, what I'll do instead now is sit down and write a piece of music, or produce a piece of music, which is going to be on my second album, which is coming out soon. Because I feel like those 2 hours, I do have something to show for the 2 hours I invested. Whereas if I practice my picking for 2 hours, that's going to improve me so little. It's going to have such a small impact on my career or my life that I rather invested wisely into something else, especially since time is so limited. You'll know that when you get into your 30s.
I'm 32, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
Entonces, tu inversión de tiempo está siendo más integral que nunca.
So your inversion on time is being more integral than ever.
Yes. Yeah, man. Time is one of the most limited resources we have. You gotta use it wisely. I wish I had known that in my 20s, but hey.
Es algo que definitivamente vamos aprendiendo con los años.
It's something that we definitely go learning with time in years.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if a guy in his mid-30s tells you that when you're young, because you won't believe it. You have to experience it for yourself.
Claro, no podemos aprender si no es viviéndolo nosotros mismos.
Yeah, we can't learn if we don't live it ourselves.
Yes, it's very true.
Vamos ya a terminar la entrevista para pasar con la sesión privada con los alumnos.
Yeah, we're going to finish the interview so that we can go with the private session with the students.
Wonderful. I'm excited for that.
Tenemos una sección llamada opciones.
We have a section called options.
Mm-hmm.
Yo te presento dos opciones y tú escoges una.
We present you with 2 options and you have to choose one. Just one.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Levi Clay o Tom Quayle?
Both. Both for very different reasons.
Okay.
Wonderful people and wonderful musicians.
Yeah. They are brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ibanez RG or Ibanez S?
RG. I don't like the S so much. It's too small. I'm not a very sensitive person. I smash stuff and I mistreat stuff. I need something a bit more bulky. Yeah.
Black Mirror or Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Nice.
You're right. You are the man.
Can I tell you a little anecdote about Breaking Bad?
Of course.
You guys are Mexican, so you surely remember the whenever there was a scene with the Mexican twins. Yeah, they played a. Listen to this. They play a sound that goes like something like that in the background. That is the Bode acoustic guitar preset from Omnisphere, and I used it on my record. That exact same sound. If you listen to the intro of Vista Cruiser for my record, it's that exact same sound. It's from the same plugin. But when I saw that show, I was like, what the hell is going on?
So Breaking Bad is in your solo album.
Yes, basically, yeah. But it was before I had known Breaking Bad. I watched Breaking Bad in 2014 or 15. I started late. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Musical teaching or gigs?
Both very important to me.
Okay.
I love teaching. I love education as a concept. I think I have a duty to pass on some knowledge that was passed on to me, and I take it very seriously too. A lot of musicians just teach in order to stock up their funds, but actually I do not depend financially on teaching. I do it because I like it, and that's why I do it in relatively small amounts, so it stays fun for me. And gigging, yeah, I miss it. I haven't done a gig in a while. I would love to do it again.
Esperemos que pase pronto esta situación.
Yeah, we hope this goes on soon. I, for myself, do miss going on stage.
Well, the last one. Hollow or semi-hollow?
I have no opinion on that. Solid body is my answer.
Okay. You can do anything that you want.
Yeah.
Bueno, pues...
I broke the game, sorry. I broke the game. I didn't give any answer the way it was supposed to.
No, la mejor fue la de Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best one was Breaking Bad.
I like Black Mirror, though. I like Black Mirror. I thought it was great.
Sí, pero Breaking Bad is better.
Yes, on a whole different level. Yeah. But there's a couple other good shows out there that you can watch. I really enjoyed Homeland. Homeland is a good one.
Better Call Saul.
No, not into it that much.
No.
It's all right, but I didn't like it as much. What did I watch recently? Oh, man, I gotta go through my Netflix. I watched way too many shows. I gotta go through the list. But there are a bunch of Ozark. Watch Ozark. If you like Breaking Bad, you gotta watch Ozark. That's a good one.
Okay, la veré entonces.
He'll see it then.
Yeah.
Bueno, pues muchísimas gracias, maestro. Ha sido todo un honor el poder compartir esta breve entrevista con usted.
Thank you. It's been total an honor to share this interview with you.
No sé si alguna vez te habían entrevistado desde México.
I don't know if you've ever been interviewed from Mexico.
I haven't been to Mexico, but no, I've not. Neither have I been interviewed from Mexico, nor have I been to Mexico. So one of those things I got off the list now, and the other one I hope soon.
Please, we want to see you here.
Yes, I would love to come. Invite me. Get me over once this madness is over.
Bueno, pues vamos a ponernos de acuerdo para tratar de traerlo aquí.
We'll get an agreement to get you here.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Vamos a presentar a nuestro invitado de mañana en Life in Music.
We'll present our guest of tomorrow in Life in Music.
Sweet.
Es el maestro Jeffrey Smith, es trompetista de la Orquesta Sinfónica de Xalapa y de hecho es el papá de Julian, que hoy nos acompaña. ¿Se lo podrías traducir, por favor?
Yeah, it's the maestro, my dad, actually. He's a soloist trumpet player in the Symphonic of Xalapa.
Wow.
Él de hecho estudió en Alemania.
He studied in Germany.
It looks a bit German too.
A little bit.
He looks more German than me.
Yeah. He's an amazing musician, a very, very good musician, and it's a luxury having here in Xalapa.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be the first trumpetist of a renowned orchestra, you gotta have your stuff together.
Yeah, he is a motherfucker, really. As like
How would
you.
you say that in Spanish, motherfucker? Would you say cabrón?
Sí, podríamos decir. Lo tengo que decir. Es un hijo de puta.
Yeah, say it, right? We have young people.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
No.
Cover your ears.
Hay cosas que se tienen que decir.
There's things that you have to say anyways.
You said motherfucker, though. You started it.
Sorry, everyone. Bueno, vamos a la sesión privada. Muchísimas gracias, maestro. Gracias a todos los que vieron Life in Music. De verdad, ha sido increíble esta experiencia. Y bueno, los esperamos mañana con otro episodio. Estamos muy emocionados. Gracias a todos.
Well, thank you all for coming. We're really excited, and we're gonna go to the private session.
Bye, everyone. Adiós.
Bye.
Muchas gracias.
Hola, ¿cómo están? Soy Manu Moreno.
¿Qué tal amigos? Soy Emiliano Coronel.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Charlie Rey.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Mi nombre es César Cejas.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Jorge Brauet.
Hola amigos, aquí Iván Barrera.
Hola, Horacio El Negro Hernández.
Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Yo soy Oliver García.
¿Qué tal amigos? Mi nombre es Emanuel Mori.
Yo soy Percy Viñola.
¿Qué tal amigos? Soy Ricardo Cortés.